All right, so welcome everyone. Then I'm really happy to introduce the CEO and CFO of Xplora Technologies. So the floor is yours, guys.
Thank you so much, and welcome to this presentation of XPLRA Technologies. My name is Sten Kirkbak, founder, father of four, and CEO of Xplora. I will lead you through this presentation today, jointly with our CFO, Mikael Clement. So, Xplora is leading the way in a very fast-growing category. As much as 100 million smartwatches for kids are estimated to reach the market over the next couple of years. And the reason for this growth and our growth is that we are addressing two very important pain points for many parents around the world. Number one, we are allowing parents to reach their kids without buying a smartphone. In fact, as much as 70% believe that the age of 10 is the earliest age to buy a smartphone with a SIM, while most of the parents also would like to be able to reach their kids in a far younger age. We are addressing that. Also, most parents out there believe that all of the kids needs to move more, be more active, and have less screen time. That is also the second thing we are addressing with our product. And in fact, the far more interesting thing with our value proposition as well is that we are capturing the next generation of digital consumer. We provide them with their first phone. Furthermore, we provide them with the first mobile subscription. We add more and more digital content to our ecosystem. And also this year, we are introducing mobile payment solution with our watches. In this presentation, I would like to guide you through our value proposition, and then Mikael will take us through some of the financial aspects. The core functionality of our watch and value proposition is that the parents buy their kids an Xplora smart watch. Then they download the Xplora application, and from that app, they can set up all the basic functionality, which is you allow parent or you allow the children to call some specific number, all of them being inserted in the application from the parent. Only those number will be allowed to call the watch. Second, you can send message, you can see the child's location, you're able to have an intelligent emergency feature, and we count and incentivize activity. That's a core functionality. Everything related to internet, social media, etc. is removed from the proposition. So basically your child's first mobile phone. And the beauty with a mobile phone is that it relies on a SIM connectivity plan. That's the reason why we bundle within our product also an Xplora SIM connectivity service. In the Nordic, we already have more than 100,000 paying mobile subscription, and now we are introducing those services into the global market as well. With the watch, it provides us revenue. With the mobile subscription, we have monthly recurring revenue services as well. When we lay the foundation with the best performance product in the smartwatch category with kids, plus we added the benefit of mobile subscription, we in the last couple of years have been building our Xplora Go Play services. The reason for that is we need stickiness to our product so we can prolong the lifetime of the product. We have been able to partner up with some of the world's biggest entertainment brands such as Sony, Paramount, Disney, etc. to create a lot of great content. The only way you can access that content is if you have been rewarded with Xplora activity points. For every 1,000 steps, we award one Xplora coin, and you can use this coin to trigger and access the content. Been a huge success, and we're now integrated some of that content into our premium subscription. Jointly with Xplora Go Play content, we also this last half of the year we're introducing Xplora Arcade, which eventually is an app store for kids within our ecosystem, where we will be releasing a lot of kid-friendly content within the lines of mini games, gamification, as well as educational content, all kid-friendly and something you can access as part of the Xplora ecosystem. Again, some of the content from Xplora Arcade, as well as some of the content from the Go Play, will be part of our premium service proposition. The last service I would like to touch base on today is the upcoming Xplora pay solution. Before, everyone had a relationship with physical money. It was more used to have your own weekly allowance, and you had pocket money if you help in the house or did your homework. That is more and more difficult for parents around the world, since all money is being digital and everyone is only relating to a debit card. That's the reason, based on the high demand, we're now introducing a payment solution within our value proposition. All boils down to teaching children the value of money and saving money. By upgrading to XPLRA premium services, parent can now set up these services in the XPLRA application so that the child can have weekly allowance, learn to save money. You will receive your first debit card issued to the kid, as well as eventually use the watch to tap and pay. Those services will be launched in our two biggest markets, Germany and Norway, during Q3. Again, XPLRA Pay will be part of our premium services. So essentially, we have our watches, we have our mobile subscription with monthly recurring revenue, and also now the opportunity to upgrade to premium services, which also add on the monthly recurring revenue streams. Before we go into the details with a financial perspective, I would like to touch base on one very important part of our value proposition, which is our sustainability strategy. XPLRA has partnered up with United Nations Global Program as well as UNICEF in the US. We have emphasized around 5 of the United Nations 17 sustainability goals related to no poverty, good health, quality education, gender equality, as well as climate action. Within our ecosystem and platform, we allow kids to be part of the sustainability strategy, converting their activity and their steps into providing good program for sustainability around the world by planting new trees, by cleaning up the ocean, as well as emphasizing kids to be more active and learn about why it's important to have a strong and healthy sustainability strategy. That's also showed up to be one of the most efficient marketing programs we have, because parents and particular kids around the world really like the value of sustainability and how important it is and will become in the future. The last slide before going into the financial is to showcase our current global footprint. Right now we are in almost 20 countries across US, Europe and the Nordics, with our full depth of the value proposition with product, our premium, entry level and X-Move activity tracker. So we are ready to scale into more and more market with new retail and telco, and also extend our portfolio further. Hopefully that gave a good overview on XPLRA with our services and the product, and now we'll go into how this scales from a financial perspective.
Thank you, Sten. Looking at the business model that we are creating, XPLRA started out in 2016, spent the first couple of years building platforms, started commercializing in 2018, and has really built its growth since 2018 through the first quarter of this year on the sale of smartwatches, continuously building a wider geographic footprint. From the second quarter of 2021, we have added connectivity to our offering, a recurring revenue which we extend globally in the second half of 2021. Also in the second half of the current year, we will extend our business model to include premium recurring revenue services, GoPlay Premium, as Sten touched upon. Finally, we are looking to widen our footprint and revenue base through the licensing of these solutions and these platforms to third-party vendors. This will build a highly scalable business model, both for growth and for profitability going forward. And growth has been very strong. We have very rapidly expanded over the last couple of years. We have tenfold our volumes from 2018 to 2020, from 20 to 200,000 units, and aim for a target of 500,000 units in our core markets in 2021. In the first half of this year, we had a growth in our volumes of close to 170%. This is also apparent in our revenues. Revenues in 2018, 18 million NOK. up to more than 200 million NOK in 2020. A growth in the last couple of years of more than 200% year-over-year in both 2019 and 2020. And we see similar growth rates in the first half of this year, with more than 200% growth to 148 million NOK, of which close to 20% came from services. Services is largely driven by our mobile subscribers. We recently announced more than 100,000 mobile subscribers in the Nordic region. And from Q3 moving into Q4 in 2022, we will consecutively release our mobile subscription plans in various other international markets. We have a strong focus on underlying profitability and have, through a number of generations of products, improved the underlying profitability of our smartwatch products. And with the entrance of new services, this has also given a further lift in our gross margins. On the left-hand side, you see the underlying 4 quarters rolling gross profitability, most recently 37% from the mid-30s over the last few quarters. That underlying improvement has largely been driven by an improvement in device margins. Now, with the introduction of network services, which carry higher gross profitability than our devices, and eventually also new recurring service revenues, we expect to continuously to build and scale our operations going forward. Finally, XPLRA has, over the last few years, developed a very solid footprint in several European markets and is now establishing in North America. We are growing through our current customers in new geographies. We are growing through new customers in new geographies. We are growing on underlying on our devices, as well as now extending to new services, both connectivity, SIM services, as well as recurring value-added services. From a unit of 216,000 units last year, we aim to sell 500,000 units this year. We are experiencing an increased awareness in the space that we are addressing, and an increased interest in selling and distributing our products across a number of categories, of which the telcos represent our biggest distribution channels, but also major retailers in a number of geographies. Given the growth that we've seen in the first half, we believe we are well on track to deliver upon our growth target for the current year. We are extending our offerings with a range of new services, including XPLORA Connect, our connectivity offering globally, our Arcade, our value-added service offering, and XPLORA Pay, also a part of our value-added service offering in the second half of this year, also moving into next year. We have a solid financial base with 144 million NOK in cash on the balance sheet as of the second quarter of this year, and we're now moving into a seasonally very strong second half. So with that, I open up for questions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. That's very helpful. Maybe you can join as well. Yeah, so a lot of exciting things to start looking into here. So I think, one of the things we're interested in learning more about is kind of when you talk about the connectivity part and the Go Play part and these kind of services, will you kind of add more tiers now as the kind of the offering is broadening even more with Arcade and those kind of things? Will there be kind of a broader, set of tiers for customers to pay for from, was it $5 to, maybe even higher for the most premium?
It's a very good question, and we are aiming to make it in a phase-by-phase approach, because since the product by default needs a connectivity plan to operate, the number one priority is to replicate the Nordic model into the rest of the world, EU and US, so that in every single watch we are selling, it will be a pre-installed SIM card, so it's easy to activate for every single customer from retail and online to add the monthly recurring revenue service from the subscription. Once that is done, we see it will be more easy to then further upgrade that already monthly recurring bill to increase with new value-added services, because then they are already into our system with a monthly subscription, and you can then add to that subscription to increase to premium services. Of course, in parallel, we will also start to gather data from every single new sales in the checkout process to buy the product, then choose to also connect with our subscription, plus immediately upgrade to premium service. But we'll of course start with our already large existing user base to upgrade them to premium subscriptions.
Yeah. All right. That's helpful. Thanks. And then next question is more kind of the go-to-market strategy. So you talked about the telcos being very important in Europe, for instance, or even mostly globally, I guess. But now you're entering into North America. So are there any different dynamics there to Europe, or will you kind of see, the same push there from operators, maybe subsidizing some of your products, or yeah?
Another great question, and luckily we have the benefit of being an early mover into the category back from 2016 and 17. So we have been able to build a very documented go-to-market strategy and data regard conversion. We see that where we are most successful currently in Norway and Germany with the biggest growth, it's the combination of us being early in all online channels, building a huge footprint with online appearance, micro-influencers, bloggers, etc. But then rapidly scale the market jointly with a retailer and a lead telco. In Germany, we've done so with Deutsche Telekom, and we will try to replicate the same model also going into the US market. We have already successfully launched online. We are very high when it comes to ranking in online search terms on Amazon, etc. And now it's naturally to start to grow with retail and telco. The benefit as well is that the whole category is having a huge push from the telco industry by default, because from the telco, it's a very high acquisition cost currently to onboard a new youth or even older subscriber, versus onboard them at 1/10 of the cost, what we see to onboard with a kid's smartwatch. Instead, that gives also the telco additional 2-3 years with additional revenue. And then jointly with the telco, we are developing a strategy to transition the customer from a smartwatch to a smartphone. That's why we see a lot of additional increased interest from the telcos around the world to onboard the next generation smartphones based on a smartwatch. So we'll replicate the strategy in US, and we see a lot of interest in US as well.
Yeah, interesting. Is there, that's quite interesting because I think, like you alluded to, the market might now be even more ready for this, even more players and stakeholders pushing for this. Is then, hence, does that mean there's no reason why the revenue ramp in North America shouldn't be at least as fast as or quicker than it was in Germany and
Yeah, I think given the right
Nordics?
Given that we follow very much the same go-to-market strategy, online first, and then move towards retailers and telcos, in combination with broad marketing programs. I think given those that we secure those elements, I think there's no reason why we shouldn't see the same type of pickup in the North American market as we have seen in major European markets naturally. To put a number on that, when Sten started out, it was with data from Asian markets where we saw that in several markets they reached a penetration rate of closer to around 10% in a matter of 2-3 years. In Norway now, XPLRA has 64,000 or so mobile subscriptions with XPLRA watches out of 500,000 children in the age group that we target. That's 13%. 1 in 7 Norwegian kids has an XPLRA watch with an XPLRA subscription. We're seeing similar growth paths, but at an earlier stage in the other Nordic markets. So of course, the addressable market is quite significant. So yes is the answer to your question.
Yeah. All right. That's very exciting. Do you kind of have a vision where we talk about third-party licensing. I don't know, it would be great to hear some more about, who are the most likely customers on that front, and is there a point in time in the future where you would consider just, stop selling hardware and just, be a content and platform provider?
Another brilliant question. It will require a little bit more time to elaborate on it, but the answer again is yes. We have been able to have this very strong position since we both have product plus services, but we see two very huge opportunity to grow. One is to purely license our content platform, IoT platform, to third-party smartwatches for kids in multiple markets. However, we also see an inbound request for actually using our platform when it comes to activating employees in big organization and even reach their end-to-end consumer, so a business to consumer model, whereby they would like to get their employee more active, but also develop programs so they can reach out to their end consumers and get them more active and participate in their ESG and sustainability programs as well. So we can scale our software model both in terms of licensing to third-party smartwatch providers that do not have IoT or content, but also to B2B and B2B2C models.
All right. I think it sounds very, very exciting. With the interest of time, I think I have to stop there. And thank you everyone for listening in, and thank you guys for taking the time to share with us today. So good luck on the journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.